Hi, I am Mandy of Mad Cow Mandy Designs. It is April 21st, 2022, and this is episode 13. Thank y'all so much for being understanding about needing to take last week off, with the exception of Aunt Pam, who texted me and told me that she couldn't make it, that I couldn't have the week off. I'm going to call you out on the YouTube for doing that. No. We were completely swamped last week, and wow. So the problem with taking a week off is now this week, this episode is going to be busy. So grab you a drink, grab your yarn, and buckle in, because oh my word, I have knitting, I have crochet, I have mail, and I have chatter galore. So if you're ready, let's get into finished objects. This one over here. By the way, I was watching other podcasters. I'm trying to get caught up because I'm backlogged on watching podcasters as well as podcasting. They will show off their socks and tell you all about the yarn and the pattern. They don't name their socks. Am I the only weirdo out there that is naming my socks? Like, I have a sock log book that I sell, and the first thing up there for you to fill out is the name of the sock. Am I the only person? Please tell me. Y'all, please tell me I am not the only crazy person that names my socks. And it's not like they're real complicated names. It's usually a mix of the yarn and the pattern. Pretty simple. Cat just left the room. Anyways, these are my Bayou slip socks. So the yarn is Knit Picks Felici. The colorway is Bayou, which if y'all don't watch Lisa of 72 Stitches, you should go watch her. She was trying to pronounce the word Bayou on her last episode, and I got so tickled. I am the world's worst at pronouncing things, and it never occurred to me that somebody in Michigan would not know how to say Bayou. Makes sense, but... So, these are my socks. I call them Bayou Slip because, as you can see right here, when a color change happens, I slip every other stitch. That's all there is to it. This is my vanilla pattern, and then when the color change happens, no matter where I am in the round, I start slipping every other stitch for an entire round, and then I knit again, and it creates this nice little toothy effect, and it just makes your self-striping a little more fun. It works with just about every Felici. There's a few that have very similar color changes in them, so you can't see the color change very well, and those I just do vanilla, but these all had pretty strong color changes. Next up are these. Oh yeah, I have two hooks that I'm using today. Okay, I showed y'all this yarn, I guess 2 weeks ago. I've been a little bit busy with the knitting, but yeah. This is the Hue-It hand-dyed yarn that I picked up at the local yarn store over in Shreveport, and the colorway is On the Rocks. I did vanilla pattern, nothing fancy. Last time I talked to y'all, I said that it looked like a thermal image, except it didn't have the dark blues in it. I didn't say anything to my husband about this colorway. he walks in the room and sees the sock being knit up, and he goes, "It looks like a weather radar." That is exactly what it looks like. And after the trip we've had, these are now my weather radar socks. The storms are coming, one behind the next. So I did, like I told y'all last time, it's feeling a little feisty. This is a 6-inch cuff this go around. I did 1.5 inches of ribbing and then a total of 6 inches before I put the heel in. I'm excited. I don't usually do tall socks because the fit is kind of meh, but I'm excited to see how these fit. I haven't even tried them on yet. I finished them yesterday, I think. There we go. Ooh, wild hair. Not much to do about that. Okay. My last 2 finished objects are for work. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen him. He's adorable. He's a puppy dog. Or a bear. I don't know. My husband said he didn't look like a dog. But he's got a cute little tail. And little floppy ears. And floppy legs. So, I want to add more toys to my shop. I want to have toys for when I go to vendor events. It's a hole that my shop has, and I'm trying to fill it to see how it will do. And so far, it's been doing well with the things that I've added. We'll see how this guy does. I'm in the process of making a dragon that's very similar shape. Gonna have a big old long tail. Not a dragon, dinosaur. Making a dinosaur is a little too early for me. I'm still on my first cup of coffee. But I need some more yarn, so that will get finished up next week. The other thing I made, I don't know, it was in my head and it had to get out of my head, and the only way to get out is to get made. I made a Pop-Tart. It is the wild berry flavor Pop-Tart, and that color is kind of blowing out. Yep, there we go. So it's purple with peacock blue for the icing drizzle on it, and then just a nice little tan. I mean, there's, I don't know, I guess it could be a coaster. I have no idea. Oh, hey, that's not bad. No idea what my plans are for this, but it was stuck in my head and I needed more brain space for other things. So, Pop-Tart now exists. It'll go on the table. I'm probably going to try and make a strawberry one as well. And, I don't know, somebody might buy it. Okay, that is it for finished objects, and we can move into works in progress. In my new Miss Fiber Fox bag with chickens on it, I am working on a sock for my mom. Surprise, surprise. Oh dear. Come on. Oh, it's so pastel-y. So, my little chick stitch marker is from Bronze Shepherd Studios. This purpley lilac color is Southern Skeins Romance. I cannot remember how old this is. It was like February's box from 2020 maybe. I keep my leftovers. They come in handy. So the main color is Fangirl Fibers. boy, with the poodles already. This was the March Gilmore Girls yarn from Fangirl Fibers, and boy, with the poodles already is the name of the yarn, or the color. This is the one that I opened and I was like, Mom, this is for you. It's very pink. She saw my video, and the next time I saw her, she goes, I have pink yarn coming and it's beautiful. It's like, okay. Do you want something other than socks? And she's like, no, I like socks. Okay, you're getting socks. So, I'm working on these for her, and this is my 2 by 2 feet pattern that I made up, and am still working on writing. Life, y'all. Life. I don't know how some of these folks do it, because I can make up a pattern on the fly, but actually writing it all out so other people understand what I am talking about is a whole different story. I'm working on it, though. Up next, in another one of my Miss Fiber Fox bags with coffee, it's tea, I know, coffee cups all over it, is housing another one of my Gilmore Girls yarns. This is from Fangirl Fibers. It's a hot mess. Gilmore Girl collection. This is the February colorway, Lane's Drums. Beautiful red. I think it will go well with my skin tone. So I decided to make a Musselburgh hat. This is the famous pattern by Ysolda Teague. It has taken the internet by storm. This is my third one to make. First one that y'all are seeing. I think it's going to be a good color on me, because currently I'm wearing one that has a lot of white in it, and I don't like it. So I have my increases, and they are absolutely beautiful. I do use double pointed needles for my cast on, and then I switch over to a 16-inch circular. I have my spooky Pop-Tart from Silly Sheep Designs, and from here to here is how much knitting I got done in the car. I cannot read in the car. I cannot knit in the car. Like, I get car sick. Bad. I knew we had a lot of car time coming up. So I picked a pattern that used sock yarn, sock size needles, and just goes in a circle forever. I don't have to look down, ever. So as long as I can knit and keep looking out the windshield, I'm fine. So that's what I did. I did all the increases at home before we left so that I could do all of this in the car. I'm not as fast of a knitter as Maddie from We Share Needles, but that's not bad for me. Especially considering I never knit in the car, because I've never been able to. So, working on this. I have no idea how long it's going to take. I'm not in a super big hurry to finish it because, yeah, I mean, it's spring. It's pretty warm here. It's not like I'm going to get to wear it anytime soon. But we spent 14 plus hours in the vehicle. I'll tell y'all about that one in chatter. Next up, Fate's Thread Chinese Takeout. And it's my tank top. Y'all, I don't even know where to start with this. Okay. The pattern is Pretty in Pleats by Andrea Yetman. It's a free pattern, and it's a tank top. I was really excited. I love tank tops. And it is worked from the bottom up, and yeah, I don't know what happened. So I've done the split now, and you put the front half on hold while you work the back half, I think was it, and you bind off 6 stitches in between on both sides. I read the pattern, I reread the pattern, and then I started working. And then it didn't make any sense. It had me bind off 3 stitches, work around, 6 stitches, work around, 3 more stitches. Which means that you have this weird bind off loop in the middle. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Went back, reread the pattern again, and honestly at this point I'm a little frustrated with it, and I don't think I'm gonna finish it. I don't think I'm gonna work on it anymore. I fixed the weird little wonky bind off loop thing, and then it didn't tell me to cut my yarn, and it told me to start working on, I think it was the back panel, but I wasn't lined up to work on the back. And I wasn't really lined up to work on the front either, based on the instructions given. So I just kind of started winging it and making it up, and yeah, no. So I think this might be getting ripped out. And I showed y'all a while back where I received 2 skeins of Southern Skeins yarn. And I was looking for a pattern, and I kind of really wanted to do another tank top, but I hadn't finished this one, so I didn't know how the pattern went. I don't like the pattern. I went and found Megan of Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits released a tank top pattern who knows how long ago. But I've knit one of her sweaters, and it fit perfectly. The instructions were great, so I found this tank top. I think I'm going to buy that pattern because I think it's like $6 or $7. But if it works, it's a really cute tank top, and I will make one in every color. It will be worth spending the $6 or $7 for the pattern. This yarn will get ripped out, recaked, and yeah, back into storage or something. Maybe it'll eventually become a tank top in some other form. It was a learning experience. And that brings us to page 2 of show notes. Good Lord. I told y'all I had a lot going on. My summer sock camp lunch bag has my scrappy blanket in it. So it also has yarn. That's that On the Rocks from the Weather Radar socks that has to get added in at some point. I just always wait till I have a Sunday that I'm feeling like it, and I work on my blanket. So I added in a square of the Bayou Felici and my 2 squares of Mandy's Making in Demion and All Natural from my King Cake socks. And that started a new row. I still haven't made it any wider yet, but clearly I need to because it fits on camera. which means it's not wide enough. So I will eventually get around to that at some point. Stay. Okay. Oh yes, that pattern, it looks like the Cozy Memories pattern, but it's actually crocheted, and it is by Betsy Makes. I like to crochet my blankets. It's really strange. I knit most everything, but I like to crochet blankets and toys. The last thing is my magic knot ball. I've added 7 grams to it. Not a whole lot. So it brings me up to a total of 137 grams, and eventually it'll become a blanket. That's what it's going to grow up to be one day. But it's very slow growing because I wait until my scraps get down to 10 grams or less, and I add them in. That brings us to mail call. So I received yesterday my April Southern Skeins box. If you haven't gotten yours yet, you need to look away. We good? Okay. This is what came in the mail. It is so very springy and happy. The 100 gram is called Spring Chick, and the mini is Easter Grass, which is very, very subtle, and I love it. It's going to make for some really pretty socks. So it's off the screen. You can come back. If you want to see the rest of what was in that box, you can go to the unboxing video that I posted yesterday. The rest of the goodies were really good. Now, this next piece of mail was ordered, I don't know, like a month and a half ago, I think. Kay the Crazy Sock Lady had a pattern sale, and I saw Rainbow Connection pattern. I liked it, I got it, and I showed Aunt Pam a picture of it, and she's like, that's really pretty. I want to make those socks. It's like, okay. Got her the pattern, and she went digging through the pattern, found out what yarn it was, went and looked. They still make the yarn. It is Desert Vista Dyeworks Summer Rainbow. Pam, you are a bad influence on me. So she went in and ordered us each a set of this yarn. Oh my god, it is beautiful. It's going to look so good worked up in those socks. And we already know that because that's what the example is in. And I got such a kick yesterday when, or was it yesterday? I think it was a couple days ago. Kay the Crazy Sock Lady put up a poll on Instagram, and she's like, should I do Rainbow Connection socks or these scrappy socks? And I was like, oh my god, you're going to do the Rainbow Connection socks. We just got our yarn in to make those socks. Of course, hers are in a different color this time because she already has this color. She's doing a really pretty gray with just like multiple purple colors in it. I can hear a cat. So I am excited to get those cast on at some point. I don't know when that's going to happen. I will get with Pam, and I'm sure we will do a cast on together and work on them at the same time. That's it. Oh, Kay did release a video yesterday, and it has teasers for sock camp. Y'all, I'm getting so excited for sock camp. It's still a ways away, and I'm getting so excited. I need to buy more needles. I need to figure out what yarns I'm going to do. I want to do something with this wall, if y'all have any suggestions. I want to hang all the socks up as I do them over the summer and not wear them until after camp. We'll see. But I want to get a collection going on this wall so that every week when I podcast, you can see what I've done specifically for camp. I don't know what that's going to look like yet because this is not a huge amount of space. And I kind of already use it for stuff, so I don't know. We'll work on that. Oh, we're into live chatter now. So, live chatter. Oh, man. Last week is a blur. We found out Wednesday before my last recording. I record every Thursday, and the Wednesday before my last recording, we found out that my husband's advisor was retiring. He works at Ole Miss, and that's where my husband received his PhD from. They were best buddies. I mean, they're still friends, but working together, they played. I can't even call what they did work. They definitely wrote papers and published and gave talks at different events, but they had a blast working on the projects that they were working on. So they were having fun. And we found out that he's retiring, so we knew that we had to go to the party. Figuring out how all that was going to work was a little different, and we decided to drive over to Monroe, it's 30 minutes away, and pick up some new clothes. We've kind of been at home for close to 3 years. We could use some new clothes if we're going to go out in public. We drove over there, and just as we got into town, suddenly the truck was really hard to steer. I don't know, we hit like a little rough patch in the road. It's not even a pothole, it's just where part of the asphalt is coming off the road. So it's just a little rough. It's not like a crater or anything. And our power steering went out. Suddenly he's like trying to manhandle the steering wheel to get it to turn. We pulled over into a parking lot and we spent the next hour trying to see if it was something we could fix. It wasn't. By the way, new trucks don't necessarily have power steering fluid. I can't tell you how long I was looking for the fluid to make sure that, it was still there. Couldn't find it. There's just an empty space in the engine where it's supposed to be. And that's because they can now make a motor. Instead of using fluid, they have a motor that is on your rack and pinion that does all that for you, I guess. I'm not a mechanic. The motor went out. At least it's still under warranty, but of course we're 30 minutes away from home. We Googled and we found out that it's still drivable. It's just not fun to drive. It's definitely easier once yeah, so I bought a new SD card for the camera thinking that was the problem. Apparently the camera itself has a timer and will cut me off when I've talked too much. I'm not done talking. So, it's easier to drive on the interstate because when the vehicle is moving, the steering wheel is just easier to turn. You have the momentum behind it that makes it a little easier. You turn a little wider, but it's easier. In town, if you're at a stop, you better stop in the angle in which you are planning to turn and then give it some gas and then continue your turning because it's a beast to try and turn. They told us that it can take up to 30 days to get the part in. My vehicle, it didn't want to drive all the way to Oxford. That is a 5-hour drive. So we talked to the dealership. They don't have loaner cars anymore. We ended up having to go to Enterprise to get one. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. If you've dealt with the rental car company lately, cars are in short supply, and the people at the 1-800 number, which is the only number that you can call, are paid to book rentals. Whether your location actually has a vehicle or not, they're going to book you. So you show up and they don't have a car. We did eventually get one. It just took a few hours longer than planned. And we were, the truck broke on Sunday. Monday afternoon, I had a rental car, and by, I think it was like 6 or 7 o'clock that night, we were on the road. We headed to Oxford, which, like I said, it's a 5-hour drive. That's why I had the hat. I knit. My husband drove most of the way. I think I only drove about 2 hours there. We had a list of all the food we wanted to eat while we were in Oxford, and I was so full and miserable by the time we left because we filled every meal slot available. And we don't usually eat that much. Usually we eat like a meal and a half a day, maybe 2 meals in a day. First up, we had to have Thai food. It was delicious. We went to the party. We took his advisor out for dinner, which was really good. It's kind of a fancier place, and I had a shrimp and pasta dish that was amazing. And the next day we got up and we had breakfast. They have a place called Big Bad Breakfast. I had a chicken biscuit that, it was like a biscuit with a piece of chicken on each half of it. I couldn't finish it. And then they covered it in a white sausage gravy and cheddar cheese. So good. And then we met my old coworkers for lunch at a Greek restaurant and had gyros and these, they call them hottie toddy balls because at Ole Miss. They are deep fried mashed potatoes with bacon and cheese in them. My favorite food is potato, just so you know. Potatoes are heaven. So we did all that, and we were there for 2 days, and we drove back. Again, 5 hours. I drove a little bit more on that trip than on the way there, but we knew that the weather was going to be rough on the way home. We did not realize how rough the weather was going to be. Not too far after we crossed back into Louisiana, our phones went off. A tornado had been spotted in the area. So we kind of assessed where we were, where the storm was, and we're like, okay, we're at Delhi. There's nothing in Delhi, just so you know. There's like 2 gas stations and a Burger King. We pulled off, we stopped at one of the gas stations, and we waited. We were kind of looking at the storm, and we're like, well, we're not going to make it to the next exit, so we're just going to end up having to sit here for about half an hour. It poured down rain, and then after a little while, it just stopped raining. And I told him, it's time to go inside. So we went in the gas station, because I've always been told that it stops raining before the tornado comes. We went inside the gas station, and they had a Subway in there. So they had a couple of little tables, and we went and sat at one of the little tables, and that put us behind all the shelving units, away from the window. Y'all, it started raining sideways. I am not even exaggerating. There was no sunlight. It was pitch black outside. All the automatic lights came on under the canopy. It was raining sideways. Trees were going. The power in the gas station was flickering. It was entertaining because there are still locals coming in, ordering sandwiches. The guy working the Subway counter is still working. There's been a tornado spotted just up the road, and they're still making sandwiches. There were a few of us that were hiding out in the gas station. The locals were still coming and going, but there were a few travelers that we had pulled over and stopped, and we were just kind of waiting out the storm, and the people at the gas station were very sweet. They did not mind at all. We did not see the tornado, just so we're clear. We didn't see it, but when we went to leave, the Subway sign had been blown out of its holder and was on the ground. Part of their canopy to the gas pumps was lifted up and was going to have to be repaired. It was some big wind and big rain. That was crazy. We did make it home, safe and sound, all in one piece, and that was like the second storm that rolled through, because the night before we received weather alerts for home that said possible hail and straight line winds and all that kind of fun stuff. So we missed that one. We were in Oxford, and then we drove through the very next day all the tornado fun. We got home on Wednesday. Now, his parents were taking care of our kitty cats. My parents got Pepper Ann. My parents live 2 hours from here, and with all the fun of the rental car and stuff on Monday, I wasn't actually able to drive her down to them. Thankfully, my dad was nearby for work, so I met him halfway, and he took her back to their house. And she spent a few days out in the country having a blast. Mom told me that if I wanted to leave her for a couple extra days, I could. I couldn't. I needed her back. I missed her too much. So on Thursday, I woke up and I drove down to my parents, and I spent an hour or two with my mom and picked up Pepper. She was so excited to come home. So that was, Thursday was another 4 hours of driving. This was Easter weekend. So we went back to my parents on Saturday for Easter. It's another 4 hours of driving. I am so sick of being in the car. I don't want to go anywhere. I am probably not going anywhere until Mother's Day. It was a busy week. So Thursday is my recording day. Obviously, I spent the whole day driving and getting Pepper. It has just been a crazy 2 weeks. Thankfully, this week has been a little bit slower, but there's just so much things around the house that need to get done because we weren't here for a few days. Yeah, I think that's all my chatter. I did a lot of chatter because I have 10 minutes on this timer and I don't know what time I got cut off on the other one. But I should probably go edit this, and I have a lot of work to do because I am working on super top secret project. I can't wait to share it with y'all. I am so excited about it, but for now, it's a secret. And yeah, it has been so nice to sit and talk with y'all again. And I will be back again next week. I will. So until then, enjoy your yarn, your knitting, crochet, whatever it is that you're working on. Enjoy it, and I will see y'all again in a week. Bye.